The curtain rises on an ecstatic Prince Ludwig of Bavaria as he runs on stage to proclaim his love to the world. Simultaneously, in Danesville, Texas, an overly proud James enters the opposite side of the stage to express his love for a stolen crystal swan. Ludwig's mother calls to him from offstage and he leaves the scene. After returning home, James's mother scolds him for stealing the swan and informs him that she has invited Sally over, the daughter of the department store's owner, so James can apologize to her face. James uses his apology as a time to kiss Sally. Back in Bavaria, Ludwig is being reprimanded for firing the third footman in a month's time, this time the reason being he was ugly. Late one Texas night, James crawls into the bedroom of a neighborhood boy, Henry Lee. He awakens Henry Lee by asking him if he would like to have sex, to which Henry Lee is appalled. Queen Marie has issued her son his punishment, to stare in the face of the fired footman for 1 hour so that he may find the beauty within him. James and Henry Lee are poring over a Greco-Roman art book that James has stolen for them to masturbate to, while, back in Bavaria, Queen Marie continues to count down the time of her son's punishment. The night ends with an eruption of happiness as James and Henry Lee orgasm, and Ludwig fulfills his punishment with the footman. Before leaving into the night, James uses his charisma on Henry Lee and he agrees that one day they will go all the way together. Ludwig, wearing a nun's habit, is praying to God for help in becoming the future king. His prayer is cut short by the obnoxious interruption caused by his brother, Otto, and Queen Marie. Marie demands that Ludwig begin acting like a king and that Otto starts respecting his brother. A 15-year-old Sally is visiting James, who has been placed in jail after burning down his house and stealing a truck with Henry Lee so that they could drive out of town. James, once again using his charisma, gets Sally to agree that the first time she has sex, she will think of him. Ludwig, now 16, is training with Helmut, his personal fitness instructor. Helmut uses this training session to teach Ludwig about the birds and the bees, and how to channel his urges. Now a senior in high school, Henry Lee is welcomed to the locker room by James, who has returned from his reform school 3 years later. Henry Lee is so put off by James's behavior that he abruptly informs him that he is scheduled to marry Sally the following day. Queen Marie has hired Pfeiffer, a well-known matchmaker, to help her 18-year-old son find a bride so that he can ascend to the throne married. Sally is in her room preparing for her wedding when James interrupts and seduces her into making love with him. Ludwig is in the midst of attempting suicide when a humpback, the Princess of Austria, Sophie, foils his plans. They begin talking about their love of Lohengrin and the idea of Valhalla, and they instantly fall in love with one another. Upon hearing about the death of his father, Ludwig proposes to Sophie, who accepts. Upon becoming king, Ludwig and his mother venture to see Lohengrin. As the opera is being played out on stage, the nuptials of Henry Lee and his bride begin to intertwine. Just as the two complete their vows, Sally bursts in and announces that James is the individual in the wedding gown. Months have passed since the ruined wedding, and Henry Lee has just arrived in Nazi-occupied Bavaria during World War II. Much to his surprise, James has followed him, and the two are reunited just in time for James to scare off a young Nazi soldier who has drawn a gun on Henry Lee. Ludwig is laying in the afterglow of passion on center stage of Lohengrin when Sophie enters to tell him she will not marry him because he is not even attracted to women. Pfeiffer brings Ludwig his reliquary, and Ludwig begins to question his own sanity. Ludwig begins describing how he will create his own Valhalla to Pfeiffer, and as he does, James and Henry Lee see it as it is many years after it was created. Pfeiffer is still listening to Ludwig describe his Valhalla as a gilded bed comes into view with James and Henry Lee laying in it, wrapped in one another's arms. The ghost of Marie Antoinette appears to Ludwig, and they begin to discuss his creation as the clouds begin to part and everyone can now see the finished Valhalla. Henry Lee reads a letter to James from Sally that he has been carrying around for some time that proclaims that she is pregnant but does not know which one of them is the father. Pfeiffer reads his own letter informing Ludwig that the nation has declared him insane and unfit for the throne. While everyone on stage is admiring Valhalla, the young Nazi soldier enters and shoots Henry Lee. James is so outraged by the death of his love that he begins shooting the soldier and does not stop until he has completely run out of ammunition. Back in Danesville, Margaret is speaking with a reporter about her son's return to Texas after the war. Ludwig is sitting solemnly in a chair after being declared insane and asks Pfeiffer to join him on one final stroll around his Valhalla. As James is being interviewed by the same reporter as his mother, his timeline and Ludwig's merge into one. The two men speak of the beauty of Valhalla, and James informs Ludwig that he had taken his reliquary and has come to return it. As they open the gilded box, the contents begin to glow.